Hi, it's Tim and Amy with Go With Less. Welcome back, and thanks for sticking with us. So today we're going to cover 2017 and some of the things we did in 2017. Specifically, our travels is mainly what we're going to talk about. And so I know that we talk about travel a lot because this is a passion of ours. And so, and the reason that we like to talk about it in the context of our videos is we do it very inexpensively. And so something we'll cover after we're wrapped up with sort of how we're retired is how we keep our budget so low and still fit all this travel into our lifestyle.
That's right.
And so
let's go with it.
Let's go with it. So,
let's get going.
So in January.
Okay, in January, we started with a house sit. So we had a busy. If you looked at the, by the way, this is how we retired in our 40s, part 18. We're almost done. And so we were really pooped after 14 friends at the end of December, really pooped. So January, we stayed home. However, we did maybe a 4-day, 3 or 4 night house sit for a fabulous little blind dog with diabetes, which we gave shots to. Fell in love with the dog, went back again with a beautiful, like maybe a 10,000 square foot home. So it was a lovely experience.
It was a 10,000 square foot.
Yeah, they had a movie theater, they had a shooting gallery in their house, they had a second whole kitchen.
Gallery. It's like is a range, like they had a shooting range.
They had like an amusement park shooting gallery. So they had a lot of space, like it made our space look like we were camping in our old life. So that was January. February.
Oh, in February, we went to LA, so we stayed at, actually this was a funny thing, so we stayed at an Airbnb in LA. This was our first bad experience.
Awful.
With an Airbnb.
If this was our only, we would never have done Airbnb again.
And so this was one.
And we've done like 15 great ones.
A lesson that we learned, and we won't cover it in great detail, but this place didn't have any reviews.
Actually, we covered it in great detail in a video like a week ago of hotels versus Airbnbs.
Yep.
So if you want to talk about that, listen to that. We have a whole post about that is covered in detail.
Yeah, but this was an amazing
trip.
Awful, just a quickie trip. So this was it was like four nights, was it?
Something like that.
Anyway,
quick,
short, quick trip to LA. So this was also, did we go to the Magic Castle this year?
Yes.
Yeah, so we went to the Magic Castle. That was amazing. So a friend hooked us up with, you have to know somebody to get into the Magic Castle. So this was amazing. Also, one of Amy's best friends from college was there.
Yeah,
Faith was there.
She was visiting for the Oscars.
She was visiting for the Oscars.
We were there for Oscar time.
And so, what else did we do on this trip? Anyway, an amazing trip, short trip.
If you ever get to go to the Magic Castle in LA, I thought I would hate it. Turns out it was the highlight. It was very expensive and the highlight of our trip. And now I eat my words. It turns out I love magic. Who knew? I love magic. March. My grandmother passed away. So she was in her 90s. She was on no medication. She lived alone. So that was a pretty remarkable, hopefully I take after her health-wise. But I was able to go to her funeral, which was in Pittsburgh. And so in the past, I would have had very little time. I might have been able to go to her funeral, but that would have been, then I wouldn't have been able to take other trips. So when you only get 2 or 3 weeks of vacation that includes sick time, then you got to be very choosy about those sorts of things. So I was really happy that I got to be at her funeral, and it was actually it butted right into a spring break trip that we were taking our daughter on.
We had already planned months earlier.
Yeah. So we were so the day that the funeral happened, we were supposed to be going to Disney World in Florida for our daughter's Christmas gift. And so she's obsessed with Disney World. So Disney is not really part of the frugal plan. She is super obsessed. We found ways to kind of we went for only 2 full days. Every day was like $100 a person a day. Parking is $20. Food is it's crazy expensive. But there's things that are worth it.
Tricks, and we'll talk about these later too. But we actually got 20% off our tickets to Disney, as well as some money that we spent at Disney.
We'll talk about those in a later video. So we got to go to my grandmother's funeral in Pittsburgh. Met our daughter and Tim at Disney World and Epcot Center, and then we also went back to that house sit with the blind dog for another couple days. So March was really busy.
Yeah, and then April we made a trip to Charlotte, so to see Amy's family, and as well as one of my best friends from high school, best man at my
mom and my stepdad and my sister, husband, and my niece and nephew.
One of my college roommates, one of my best friends lives in Charlotte as well, and so we made a trip there, and I wrecked my brother and sister-in-law's van, so I backed into
it was like a freak accident.
So
he touched a mailbox and the whole back shattered.
We paid their $600
deductible.
No,
it was
no
awful.
Big deal. A big deal for them, so we had to leave them with the mess to clean up. But it was a $600 check for us, and again, okay in our budget.
Yeah,
so,
but
but
you
it was
keep room
stunk.
in your
It was
budget for
awful.
that sort of stuff.
That's
That's a
exactly
lesson
right.
on that. Do not
Yeah.
go lean to the cut it lean.
But that was a great trip, and also we love the fact that we can now go see our family.
We can
which
go
now
see our
was
family.
every 4, 5, 6 years. Before,
They're far
between,
away.
So, that's right.
Yeah,
So,
so we had it. We
easy
didn't
now.
get to go often. May. Oh, we did a good trip to New York City. I wrote about it extensively on the blog. So we had 4 nights in Manhattan. I lived in Manhattan for at least more than 9 years, and I grew up outside of Manhattan for like 16 years of my life. So I knew Manhattan really well. Even with that, I spent roughly 70 hours planning what to do in Manhattan. All of it is in a post that is on our site, so that if you're going to Manhattan, you don't need to do it again. We got the best food. We did super cheap, free stuff that was like extraordinary.
Yeah,
We found an
amazing
Airbnb
Airbnb
that
Bed-Stuy.
redeemed our Airbnb
Yep.
beyond belief. So that was like a winter trip. Go to www.gowithless.com to read more about that, because it was killer.
Yep. And then in June, we made a trip to Boston, which Amy went to college in Boston, so you had a lot of connection
I hadn't
there.
been back since then.
Yep. So it was we did everything there was to do in Boston, or
For a
at least
week.
it seemed that way. We did learn some things that we don't want to do in the future. So we were cheap, so we had this deal with Marriott that had us staying outside of the city. It was the only affordable hotel that was in the Marriott chain. We had to stay, I think it was 7 nights
There are
consecutively.
plenty. Boston is one of
So-
the most expensive cities in America. So
Yeah.
if we wanted to stay in the city, we would have had to use a ton more points.
So we
it
stayed
wasn't
far-
Marriott.
we
We
s-
were cheap.
No,
It was
that's
a
right.
Marriott.
We
We
were
were
cheap.
cheap,
No, it wasn't
and we
even
didn't use
Marriott.
enough points.
We stayed far out of town, and it was too far out of town, and so every day we had to get on the train and make it our way.
And then
into
it was a
town.
mile from the end
And
of
we
the
had to
train.
walk- That's right.
So it was an
just-
hour to get on the train, and then a mile
So we
after
learned
we
some
walked.
lessons there
Yeah.
that we will share with you later.
So we don't mind staying outside of a city. We do not have a problem with that. But after
No.
a really long day of touring, there ain't no way that I want to be walking another mile. Of course, it was uphill. So
In
and it
addition
was
to
really
our
hot.
commute in to see
And
what
it
we
was
want to see.
really,
It
really,
was crazy
really hot. We did have extraordinary food there too. Like Boston and New York are two food like powerhouses
Yeah.
for America. We ate like
Oh,
killer.
we stayed with one of Amy's
Yes,
friends
a
on
good friend.
Martha's Vineyard.
And he
which
took us
was-
all around in his little convertible.
It was an amazing. So the whole trip was just incredible.
Amazing. So
yeah.
we wrote about that. I wrote about that extensively also. We didn't do the Martha's Vineyard piece because that can't be duplicated and it wasn't as cheap. But we talked all about the Boston piece on the video, on the website at, again, www.gowithless. There's not a ton up there, so it'll be really easy to find. I'm going to get on to our Santa Barbara road trip. So we had only been doing our house sits in state. So we had been doing kind of like our reference house sits. Well, this was the first time that we were able to go away and do a house sit. And so we went to a town that we love, which is Santa Barbara, California. And we took our daughter. We took like a 2.5 week road trip. We drove out there. We went through the most beautiful scenery of southern Utah, which is
Incredible.
If you got to get there, if you haven't been there, wow. Drove all the way to California with like an overnight in Utah. Kept going, so only one night to get to California. Had
Went
an
to Vegas.
amazing lunch in Vegas. Had a dog that we always fall in love, but we totally fell in love, and this was
He
a little
was
longer,
cool enough, yeah.
so we fell in love even more. Heartbroken to leave, and we went home a different way. I think it was 2 nights coming home, and it was 2 nights, and we went to the Grand Canyon with
Yeah.
our daughter. So that was super, super fantastic.
We had
so
the
we're now
vacation experience, Grand Canyon.
yeah,
But
like
anyway,
20
it was cool.
minutes peeking. And so that we're going to wrap it up in July. We're going to finish it up in one more chapter, and we are done with getting us up to date. So so thank you for tuning in. We'd love a thumbs up from you if you could do that underneath the video. Subscribe if you don't already. And if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the fields below, and we would love to answer those. We answer everyone. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.